The crafted and enhanced Epicurean. Is it even worth grinding this precision frame fusion rifle from the dungeon when main ingredient simply exists? The answer is absolutely. The Epicurean is a force you want to have in your hands. It is starting to become my absolute favorite fusion rifle for just connecting your bolts. Before we even get into the gun, you should know they buffed the drop rates for red borders in the dungeon. I got all mine done in a single night, and it's really not too bad now. So I encourage you to knock it out if you have some free time, regardless of what you think of the rest of the review. So what makes the Epicurean so solid? Honestly, everything together. I really feel like without one of these pieces I'm gonna talk about, it just doesn't feel as good, but with all of them together, it's kind of magical. I'll give the disclaimer that I was not a fan of the Epicurean back during the menagerie. Arantel was still going strong, there was no real reason to run it. So when this came back, missing most of the main fusion rifle perks, my expectations were pretty low. However, there was one single perk giving me hope. But first, let's start with the foundation and add to it. The new Epicurean has an abysmal 15 zoom value, with no scopes to amp that up. And this one is simply the lowest zoom fusion from the precision frames. And when you first craft your baseline Epicurean, you will feel it. It is truly terrible. It's like you started down Route 1 with your basic trainer Pokemon, you gotta level it up at all the Metapods before you reach Brock, if you know what I mean. I tried more range, I tried more stability, but until I did two specific things, it just did not feel good. First thing I did, a counterbalance mod. I'll be the first one to try a fusion without counterbalance. Oftentimes you can just control the recoil yourself through reticle friction if you're on a controller or compensating for the recoil. And Epicurean is a precision frame, which by default makes the bolts tin more vertically. But this 80 recoil direction stat on the base Epicurean is so terrible that I'm telling you, just put a counterbalance mod on it and take it to an incredible 95 recoil direction. I tried using arrowhead brake for it, but using your barrel for more stability or range will pay off in the long run, I think. Speaking of barrels, the battery, and the masterwork, I tried them all. I really wanted to see what it felt like to go for all stability, all range, tank the stability, go for a bit of speed with accelerated coils. I tried it all. And I've come to the conclusion that Epicurean needs a bit of it all. Don't use charge time stuff, messing with the bolts to kill didn't feel good, and having the extra range or stability in those slots was more important. While I say a bit of everything, I also will say this is the only fusion rifle in the entire game that I felt that going for all stability felt good with. I have never felt that on another fusion rifle. I know that's very popular, but just for me, I feel like usually connecting the bolts and more range is just more important. But having all stability on this fusion felt really good. However, it felt better having a mix of both range and stability. So let's get into where I landed. For the barrel, small bore is perfect. It gives +7 range, +7 stability, fantastic. I then added more range and stability with the battery and the masterwork. It doesn't matter which one you put where, but for mine, I had a stability masterwork and then used projection fuse on the battery for more range there. In total, once you reach level 20 on the crafted version for the extra stat boost, it works kind of like Adepts on crafted weapons. That puts me at 78 range, 66 stability, with an amazing 95 recoil direction from the counterbalance mod. My handling's pretty low at 37, but we're gonna do a bunch to buff this in a second. With the perks, rangefinder is key here. Rangefinder brings this whole thing together, and honestly, it might not feel right until you get it. Rangefinder is a rare find on fusion rifles these days. You used to see it all the time, but nowadays, you can only get it if you get super lucky with a main ingredient from Dares of Eternity or a Tachyon Force from Last Wish. Both pretty rare finds, so the fact that you can craft one for sure is so good. Rangefinder gives you 10% more zoom and increases your aim assist fall off distance by 30%. So yeah, you want that. Enhanced Rangefinder gives you only a +5 handling, but why not? You know rangefinder's where it's at, you might as well enhance it. For the first column perk, I went back and forth a bit, trying out Snapshot, Wellspring, everything, until I decided what I always thought it was gonna be. Surplus is what you want. Even with just one ability up, you're adding +5 stability, +5 reload, +10 handling, that's great. But with 2 abilities, you've got +15 stability, +25 reload, and +25 handling, and with all 3 abilities, you're at +25 stability, +50 reload, and +50 handling. Enhanced Surplus also increases the benefit of these, it says, but no one has confirmed and no one has been able to test exactly what Enhanced Surplus is doing. For this build, I'm just gonna assume I've got Surplus level 2 active, since I usually have 2 abilities up at any given time. I'm gonna go ahead and add the +5 handling from Enhanced Rangefinder here as well, and that puts my fusion at 78 range, 81 stability, 95 recoil direction, and my handling is now at 67. Now I want to add a few gear mods to these stats to show you what I'm usually working with in these clips. If you've watched my other fusion breakdowns, you know I'm running the Arc Quick Charge mod to give me the +20 handling from it. I also haven't even mentioned aim assist yet, which is huge, and the aim assist on this thing aligns it right alongside plug 1. It's one of the primary factors that helps it compete with main ingredient, which has aim assist that's a little bit lower. That said, I'm also running 1 or 2 fusion targeting helmet mods at all times, so my aim assist is boosted by 10 or 15 depending on what my build looks like that day. With the quick charge mod and 2 helmet targeting mods added on, assuming I've got at least level 2 of surplus active, I end up with a final stat spread of 78 range, 81 stability, 87 handling, 95 recoil direction, and 80 aim assist. All while rangefinder is giving me the extra 10% zoom and enhancing my aim assist distance by an extra 30%. And all of this is added onto the fact that I'm hitting 5 bolts to kill at every resilience level thanks to this being a precision frame. This thing slays. It was so difficult to even take it off to make my plug 1 guide this week. The gun literally is taking my breath away on some shots. Rangefinder is so good at connecting things, this fusion has no business hitting. The only thing that will hit farther is really an old school fusion with zoom, scope, and rangefinder that's unavailable now, or if you got extremely lucky with one of those main ingredients from Dares of Eternity that has rangefinder on it. I've really got nothing else to say. Go get one. Go craft it right now. Even if you're not sold on surplus, I hope I've sold you on rangefinder, and I hope I've sold you on a crafted Epicurean. Hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions at all, and I've got a TikTok going now for quick 1-minute Destiny guides. But I hope you're still enjoying the deep dives here. Until next time, GG.